morning and welcome to Future EX Season 2. I am sitting today with Melicia from Liqui. She's the Managing Director, and we are going to be chatting a little bit more about employee experience. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Sadie. Thank you for the opportunity, and we're really looking forward to the chat.
Awesome. So when we get started, I always like to ask everybody a little bit about your journey. So can you give me a little bit more about you? Where are you from and what shaped your path to working in Liqui?
So I'm a very strong believer in life happens for us and not to us. So my life journey, I mean, born in Klerksdorp, a little bit in Rustenburg, then was in Woodbank. I did the last bit of my school and then high school in Bronkhorstspruit, and then decided when I'm going to finish matric, I'm definitely going to Pretoria or somewhere where it's a little bit bigger and doesn't feel like I'm on the farm all the time. And for me, from a very young age, I've always been an entrepreneur. I was kind of a little bit odd in my family. I loved making money and finding new opportunities, and I loved doing sports, and I loved studying, and I loved maths. And for my family, it was a little bit of an odd number. And also my dream was always to become a doctor. So that was not the possibility at that stage, but then decided, okay, let me just spread my wings. Let's see where I'll be able to go. So my journey really started off very basic, really struggling and making a lot of really stupid decisions. And I think with everything that's happened and all the lessons I've learned, whether it was own businesses and being an entrepreneur, to point where I got very sick, my colon burst. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2000. At that stage, I did have businesses. So I had to get rid of them, and it was a really bad debt because I could not manage looking after them. I was in hospital for a very long time. And in that process, Herbalife found me. So more on health and people trying to help me to get back to normal. And it changed my health, and I saw an opportunity to help people that had the same kind of problems that I was sitting with and share my experience. And from that, I was introduced to a really healthy life and realized from a very early age, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. Sure. So that was a priority for me. And then I got to really get involved with personal development. I mean, I was in a very bad low. I was living in a garage. I was eating popcorn for main meals, and I was liquidated at that stage. So my health was now just getting back on track. And from there to be able to grow and be introduced to the Tony Robbinses of the world and the Jim Rohns, it got me hooked on knowing that you should work harder on yourself than anything. So that journey started. Herbalife really changed my life. I saw a really big part of the world and introduced me to different ways of marketing and interacting with people, but continuously working on yourself. So from having to hand out flyers at traffic lights and doing things that was totally out of my comfort zone, but through every single step, learning so much about myself, my limitations, and also knowing that education is I always thought I had that limitation, not having an education, but through all the skills I was introduced to that I could learn from communication, emotional intelligence, all of those aspects then helped me. And I started doing training all over the world, and eventually was at a seminar at the Sandton Convention Center for Herbalife, and then the recruiters of Liqui, as Liqui was the first subsidiary of the mother company. They were in the audience and afterwards came to chat to me and said, there's a new brand that wants to develop in South Africa, and hearing my story and what I've been doing, what they think I'll be the ideal person to do it. So I think at that stage as well, because before that, I knew that there was something else I wanted to really impact people with. And the opportunity came on my path, knowing a direction that I wanted. I've always wanted, and I also always loved cars, but it was almost exactly what I was looking for, and it found me. So it was quite stunning. So I went to Germany. For me, it was always the same as with Herbalife. If I believed in the product, I never had to sell anything. I just shared my results, and I wanted to add value to people's lives. So if I could do exactly the same, then with if the product of Liqui was the same, I could also add value to people in South Africa. So that was in a nutshell to the point that we started with Liquid Molly, and from start it was very difficult. It was absolutely, if I think back of it, I really want to write a book.
Okay.
Because it was from having, I mean, nobody, I had nobody to fall back on to explain to me how they want to do it. My biggest benefit was the skills. And then for me, always believing in a quality product and adding value. So might take longer, but build relationships and trust. So I build it on a lot that I've learned in Herbalife and did a lot of research. Everybody said I was crazy because in 2007, 2008, it was a recession, and Liquid Molly is not the cheapest product in the market. And through that, it was from having to sit in a warehouse and start with nothing and go and be the delivery and the order taker and the technical support and placing the orders and moving warehouses and driving the forklift. So being able to do absolutely everything, and from there learning through mistakes, keep on improving skills, to just growing a company day by day, step by step. And through that process, always making sure that I can be better than I was yesterday. And also my team, develop them, that all our focuses should be is not compared to anybody else, but looking at what we're doing and making sure that we are better today than what we were yesterday.
I love that. And I mean, that's an amazing story. I am a little bit jealous that you got to drive a forklift. I would really like to drive a forklift at some point.
You're more than welcome to come to the warehouse. I'll give you some quick tips. It's quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love cars. And my team got me for my 40th to drive all the supercars at the racetrack, and I got to drive the Atom, and that I love cars. So that would be cool. I'm definitely coming to drive a forklift. And tell me, so I mean, you obviously have a total passion for learning. And how do you, I mean, what is your viewpoint on employee experience? I mean, what do you think an ideal employee experience should be? You obviously have grown with your team, so you've got quite a unique viewpoint on that.
I can honestly tell you, in the beginning, I was in a mindset of we go through different processes, I think, through developing skills. And with Herbalife, you had a team, and it was organization all over the world, but it was a different mindset. It was people that wanted to start their own businesses or were looking at health. So then you have a business where someone has to drive the forklift and someone has to pack the orders, and it's a variety of different people. And in the beginning, there was a lot that I thought nobody can do it as well as what I can do it. And I was really scared to give some of my responsibilities away and really trusting people. So in that process, I learned that there's no way that any company can grow without a team. And there's absolutely no way that you can really become extremely successful if you do not surround yourself with people that are better than what you are, that you can leverage from, but also that you can trust that they are going to take responsibility for what they do, and together we make an amazing team. So I think with developing in that way and learning some hard lessons. If I say hard lessons, my personality is I see people and I see that there's potential, and then I want to help them to fix it. And I had to go through very hard learning processes to realize that's not how it works, because people will change when they want to change. You can be an example and you can inspire and you can set a platform for them. So it's important in the beginning to work on the foundation, and when they are ready, be there. And through that, really looked at quite a number of companies and thought to myself, I need a team to take Liquid Molly to 100 million, 200 million, and to a billion growth process. And with that, people spend the biggest part of their lives at their offices and within whatever company is what they're working from. And that needs to be an enjoyable process. It needs to be an environment that people would love to come to, that they're excited to be there, that they are there before you need them to be there because they want to, and that they take responsibility for their position and so proud of what they're doing. And to create that environment, I had to be the example. I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn what is required to be a teacher, and I also, as I say, teacher, a leader, and more in a sense of my own emotional intelligence, because I think we sometimes we have an ego, and the ego, you want to do quite a lot, and then someone disappoints you, and then you think, I'm not going to help anybody else. What is the use? And I went through those roller coaster processes with trying to help the team and really seeing that how can I improve their lives. And when it is more of a kind of a force, I don't want to call it a force, but trying to do it in a way that it is not, you're not letting it just happen, just not letting people grow at their different paces in their different journeys, and trying to step back and not you have a blueprint of how you want it to happen, but just loving it the way it happens.
Yeah.
And trusting the process and working on myself every single day, that when I get an emotion where I'm feeling disappointed, or I'm feeling that in some form or way I'm feeling let down, to then step back and say, what is the issue I have that I need to work on to be able to make sure, because there's some situation that I haven't worked on, some skill I have to develop, because if I was unconditional love towards my team and to everything I was doing, this wouldn't affect me. So the work is not for the person that I'm looking at, it's working on myself. So, and I can honestly tell you, it was not something that happened overnight.
Yeah.
And really working and really going through process, and then having a massive setback, because when busy doing that, they were still feeling that some communication, people were not maybe on the right level to be able to get that kind of communication. And through a whole, what I call it, a big CCMA case, and some of my employees, it was a really tough process in my life. But after that, I changed so many things, because I didn't look at it as, oh, why did this happen to me? Because what can I learn from this, and what can I do different going forward? Because I had an assumption that if I'm good to everyone, that would just come back. And it wasn't the case. So I changed all of that. And now for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been totally different. It's been exciting. It is. We have a code of honor within our company. So it is exciting to think that there's a journey. But I think if you want to be a good leader, if you really want to make sure that employees are taken care of, and that you have a company with employees really enjoy being part of the team, you have to work on yourself and your skills every day. It's not something that you master. It's something that changes, and you need to evolve with it. And you have to evolve with your team, because new people are going to come on board, and it needs to be an environment that people can adapt to. And you need to be able to adapt and to evolve and to innovate every single day. So it's been a big journey, and I love every moment of it. And through that, just everybody else has grown. And I think the one that I'm the most grateful for is how much it has humbled me and changed my personality, and some of the things that was obstacles for me to just really just work so much harder, so that I can just be a better example and inspiration for everybody that's part of my team.
I love that. It's that real growth mindset, kind of, continuous learning, humble curiosity. I think that's such a great way to approach business and to approach being with your team. People see, oh, well, you're not claiming to be the expert, you're on the journey with them, and that makes it okay for everyone to make mistakes and for everybody to be able to learn. And I think that's an environment that really helps people to flourish, actually. So I think that's amazing. I am going to ask you, the question I'm going to ask you, it's about the line dancing. I want to know what that's about.
So for me, So we have a couple of things within the company we promote. So we've all done Limitless from Jim Quick. We're reading books. So we've got 3 different incentives. It's the amount of exercise, Udemy courses, or different skills you develop, the books we share. So we have a group, and so our dream team, so my team, we're known as the dream team. Every morning starts with a grateful message. So when I'm on the bicycle on the kicker, I send the first message, and then everybody, as they wake up, send and share their grateful message. And then we end our day exactly the same way. And that's every day throughout the week, and then also weekends. Because I feel when you're grateful, There's no other negative emotion that can really be part of you. So it's just to realize it doesn't matter how bad it is, because everybody has bad ups and downs. So that's the one part that's part of the company. And then I know laughter and dancing and being united as a team really creates a different environment in the office. So what we do is on a Monday, so our office hours start at 8, but everybody that wants to join is here at 7:45, which is then everybody.
Okay.
And then I just have a motivational video for the week, whatever direction or a little bit of a theme for the week, and then we dance. So we have a line dance. I've got my speakers here in the training area, and we have a line dance that we do. And I mean, it doesn't matter where we go, if music plays and everybody is, it's one of the songs that they'll get up and dance. So we dance. We start with a big high five, everyone, and then everybody starts the day. We ring the bell every hour and then sanitize. So you might hear the bell a little bit later. So I'll apologize for it in advance. And then on a Friday, we do the same. On a Friday, it's then a little bit more humor. So then I would show something that'll make you laugh or inspire, or an inspiring way of what people can achieve if they believe in themselves. And then we dance again. So we start the week and we end the week with dancing. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, if someone is going to be in the office at the same time, then they'll have to join line dance. It's not negotiable. If you're here, then you dance. So it's just a way that it's just a little bit different, just having it that people can enjoy what they are doing. So we have a lot of fun in the mornings. So yeah, it's something that even if sometimes we have a meeting and we do our code of honor in the mornings, and we'll be on Zoom with our team, rest of South Africa, and it will go over 8 o'clock. It's okay, so are we still going to dance? Everybody's no, we have to start the week with dancing. So yeah, it's part of our company code of honor.
I love that. Yeah, I must be honest, it sounds like a really fun place to work.
It has to be fun, because I mean, yeah, if people don't want to come to work, then I have a problem. So it's so rewarding if I see people are here. I mean, most of my team are here before 7 in the morning, and it's unbelievable to see. And I think it's nice to know that there's an environment that they love to come to, that when it's a holiday and they come back like, thank goodness work has started.
That is amazing. I mean, and really that's the dream. So I mean, you obviously have a great passion for it, but if I have to ask you to say, if you look forward, what are kind of the big trends and things that are emerging that you think other leaders should take heed of in the employee experience space? What are sort of the trends and things that you see are happening in the business world?
So when I look at employee experience and some of the other companies and the trends, I think there is a little bit of a change in fun and in personal development, and I think in really developing skills. And if I say that, I think this is something that we should never stop doing. And I'm not necessarily talking about phone etiquette and the things that's going to benefit just if you just look at a business structure. But I think the things that make a difference, because you can tell me as much about sales and how to close a sale and how to make an appointment, but if I'm not happy with me, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to see a client because I don't have the self-confidence. If I don't have emotional intelligence, every time someone says no, I'm going to make it personally. I'm going to take it personally. So I think if I look at the trends, I think there's a big drive in that. I mean, the movie The Secret came out years ago, but it feels like there's now this momentum. It's like it's people are getting more educated in the personal skills, those skills that makes it easy for them to communicate because they know themselves, and they can get to know, when you know yourself, you can know people much better. So I think, but with those trends, I also see companies that feel that I look at them and I think, you are not going to be able to survive many years because you're still in such an old school way of doing business. And I think if I look at the companies that are doing extremely well, I mean, you can look at big companies that everybody knows. You can look at the Googles and the Apples and some of the companies that you know that they always have that fun environment. If you look at their offices and they've got sitting on balls and it's all the Nike and there's a track to go and run around. I think those are the companies that are seeing the vision of we have a new generation coming up and we have to really think of doing things differently. It's really connecting with people. It's being real. It is helping people to understand themselves. And I think if that is something that more companies can take on and not just teach people the basic kind of business skills, but really go into the people skills and the personal skills and the emotional skills, it'll make a massive difference in their business and in businesses all around, and even in just the developing of the employees and that excitement that they will have by knowing that anything is possible and where they are now is not where they're going to be, but just to be able to know that they can grow and have a future that's going to be exciting for them.
Yeah, totally. I love the fact now that what was previously known as soft skills are now being rebranded to power skills, because, you know, if you, as you say, if you don't know how to be with yourself and, you know, be able to communicate and be able to understand who you are, you're absolutely unable to approach so many facets of life. So I do like the fact that that's actually coming front and center, and that those sort of skills are knocking some of the more formal, as you say, traditional learning out, you know, and we're kind of meeting people where they are. So I love that. And what do you think are, you know, if you had to say to a leader in terms of things that you believe are a non-negotiable that you have to have with employee experience, what would that be?
I think the knowing that your development and learning never stops. It's when you stop learning and you think that you know everything, I think that is definitely a problem. All leaders should know that this is an ongoing process. And also, I think for us, all of us have beliefs. We have certain way of reacting. And I think it's the awareness. Sometimes we just live life and we are not aware of how we feel about certain things. And when you're a leader, people do what you do, they don't do what you say. Unless you're a dictator and kind of make them scared about you. But that's not
relevant at the moment, but
yeah. But being in an example, and in being in an example, it is really, if you're aware of how you handle certain things and how you communicate and what is a reaction on certain communication and could you do it better, and those kind of skills and those kind of learning for leaders, I think is so vital, because we want to talk to every employee in the same way.
Yeah.
And we would want to develop all the skills the same way. And we expect them to fit into a certain box and to do things the way we would have done it. And I think that is that is something that I feel all leaders should take a step back and think, how can I be more aware? How can I really get that intelligence or that emotional intelligence that I can really understand my team? What are their needs are? Because if they flourish, if their employee experience is unbelievable and they have so much joy in what they do, that filters through to your customers on the phone, when they see them directly, in their homes, when they are with their families. And you want to make sure that your ambassadors, your employees that are representing your brand of the company are happy, and that when they are in a good attitude and they are learning new skills and they are excited, because I also believe that if you stop growing, you die. So you don't want to stagnate. You have to move. We have to keep on moving to be happy. As soon as we get very bored in our not feeling that there's purpose or that there's growth, we actually become depressed and we feel that we are we're not adding any value. And I think we have to consistently and consciously continue to know that maybe what we've implemented now is working, but you always have to innovate and grow. It should not be something that you want to do for a year or for a month or for 2 years or 3 years. This should be something that you do forever, because your employee experience needs to be growing every single day and making it new, making it fun, giving more challenges, and letting the team grow as a unit so that they can be adding better value to everybody that they need to touch as a representation of your company.
And so off the back of that, what do you think are the challenges that leaders often encounter?
I think challenges are definitely there to help us grow. Every single challenge I've ever had, at the moment you feel, oh my goodness, why am I having this? But then you realize that you're supposed to have that. You will not develop a skill if you don't have the challenges. But if I look at our everyday challenges, I think it's everything that's happening outside. I don't think our environment around us is to create positivity. It's the COVID is everywhere, and it's war, and it's people that are killing each other, and people that are being hijacked, and companies that are not making it. And it's all these negative stories. And I think the challenge that leaders have is to make sure that you can get your team to be so consumed in growth and possibilities and opportunities in the goals for the future that they kind of, it's happening. I'm not saying live in a bubble and say that there's there's no weeds, but to not knowing that we shouldn't be an autopilot. Don't let the world and everybody outside control you, but teach your team to be able to be the master of their own emotions, and not to be an autopilot by the politics and by everything that's happening outside of them. And I think that is a challenge, because those challenges affect us in so many things. I see clients are negative because they are watching the news and reading all the newspapers and all the negativity, and then that pours onto them. And then they bring those challenges back to the office. So it's to be able to make sure doesn't matter what is a challenge, to make sure that we have the skills to be able to make sure it does not affect us, that we're aware of it, but we do know and with strong goals and with strong growth, the reality is I take my team with COVID. When COVID hit, it was, okay, so it's COVID. So what are we going to learn from this, and what are we going to change? Because people are now at home. What can we do differently? Exciting. What can we learn? What can we? And it totally exploded our business, because we did so many new things, just because we did not go and see the challenge and then said, oh my goodness, what we're going to do, and became numb. We said, wow, here's a challenge. Here's an opportunity. What are we going to do to be able to solve it? And I think there will always be challenges here. There will always be changes. There will always be limitations. There will be, if I think of the hundreds and limitations and challenges we face every week, every month, I think if you see them as challenges, it's kind of a negative connotation with them. So if you can change them to an opportunities to learn and see what skills and what innovations to put in place, it's a little bit different. And I think leaders, with the challenges and how to approach it, is to be able to make sure the way that it's conveyed to the team is in a way of, wow, here's an opportunity for us. How can we take it head on, so that we can learn to swim very strong? Because if we can swim in these kind of storms, can you imagine if the water is still?
I love that. So it's like basically being able to really get hold of the power of the reframe.
Exactly. Because I mean, how many companies do you know in the last while with COVID that came out that actually didn't make it?
So many.
So that, because they were waiting. They were waiting for things to become better. They were waiting. They think, oh, they became numb and paralyzed, and you could use exactly that same situation and use it as an opportunity. And I think that's the important part about leaders. You need to lead a team, because if you look up to to leaders if you are not maybe that strong, but they say, guys, awesome, let us work together, let us stay healthy, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to go through this. Then they feel empowered and okay, great. But if leaders are going to sit and say, oh my goodness, we're not going to make it, it's not going to be possible, I don't know what to do, we're going to tend to want to have to retrench half of you, business is going to be bad. There's very little negative conversation that happens in our offices.
Yeah.
Because that's never the focus. We knew COVID was happening and we were following protocol, but we used, okay, so let's sanitize as often as possible, but how can we make it fun?
Yeah.
Let's ring the bell every hour.
Yeah.
Everybody celebrates and clap hands, and then you sanitize. So let's make it fun. So I think with every challenge, there's an opportunity to implement something new. And I think the leaders should know that people are looking at them to be the example. And they should make sure that the people that are dependent on them or look up to them are going to see the opportunity of taking that challenge or that obstacle and just creating it into a huge opportunity.
I think what's amazing about what you've done there is you've taken something that was, completely out of your control, and you've managed to take a process and an enforced protocol and turn it into an employee experience touch point. And I think that's really amazing. I think for a lot of people that listen to these conversations, we often talk about the functional aspects of employee experience. And this for me is such a great example, because people always ask, but practically, what does it mean? And, what you've done there by saying on the hour, the bell goes and everybody, celebrates and sanitizes. You've taken a process and made it part of the employee experience. And that is so key. And that's what I think everybody overlooks, is that they think it's going to be this big, fancy, mapped out thing. It's these tiny little things that happen during every day that add up to a great employee experience. It's not one thing. It's just these tiny little things. And I think you're doing such an amazing job there by kind of weaving it into the day, so it doesn't feel like something that's contrived. It feels completely natural. It fits in with the culture of the business, and everybody's actually, completely on board with it, instead of some people that have had to drive that process so hard and everybody's so resistant to it because it's become something that has to be done rather than something that's just like built in and made fun,
Yeah, and I think the more the employee experience is those little bits, and those small little bits add up to so much, because now it makes the whole day fun. So now is this whole week of dancing and what's a video, and you've got the grateful messages, and it's all those little bits.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's every part of the day and part of the week, people are feeling part of each other. Still have the responsibility of their own of their own position, but still as a unity can do all these different things. And I think employee experience, we do things very different than our head office in Germany, because for them it's very in the box, click, click, click. We don't do things very fun, but it's, I think, if you grasp that the employee experience every single day should be something that people look forward to, that it's not on a Sunday, oh my goodness, I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if I'm so excited tomorrow's work, then you change the total direction of your company and your business.
I agree. And I want to ask you something that's is a little off the side. I mean, it's I've heard you mention quite a few times now you've spoken a lot around health and wellness, just in little bits that we've spoken about. So I want to understand, how do you focus on wellness as a business? Is it it's obviously part of your employee experience in some way. You were saying that it's part of the competitions, and how do you weave that into your employee experience?
So, a healthy body is a home to a healthy mind. It doesn't help if you have a healthy mind, but your body is not healthy. So it needs to be that collaboration, and need to be in synergy with each other. And I think, if I'm going to be honest with you, if I look at my team, so it's from different cultures and different I mean, I look at South Africa and I look at some things just break my heart, because I think there are so much opportunities, but there are basic things where we have to start at. And that is exactly with the team. So I looked at the foundation. So what is the standard? I look at the eating habits and the exercise habits and the beliefs that's been that a lot of people grew up with. If you are overweight, it means that you are well taken care of, for an example. Or these kind of foods might be cheap, but it's going to fill me up. Or just a couple of things that we just make sure that people they understand, educate in good nutrition. Having your own garden at home helps you to have your carrots and your fruit and vegetables without having to go and buy them somewhere. So then that also creates a little bit of a family excitement, because you've got the garden at home. So just making good quality decisions. Water, for an example, the importance of drinking enough water during the day. That's why there's water units all over the warehouse, so that people can fill up their water bottles. And then the competition we have is reading. Because I think if you read, and you do read about healthy nutrition, or because I mean our competition is not for books like Daniel Steele kind of books. It's really books with either educating you in business or personal development, or something that's going to make you grow as a person.
Okay.
And through that, I always say, when you take one step up, you see things different, and you can't ever unsee it.
True.
So the more I educate, the more people say, oh my goodness, I thought that wealth is evil. People with money is terrible. Or I thought that only this, or I mean, the things I learned from my team sometimes for me is unbelievable. Like they thought that, and this is not just some of my team said, but I thought that anxiety attacks were only for white people. So I said, why would that be? And I said, because they didn't think that there was anything for them to stress about. So I said, because in the whole process, I said, okay, no, but it was also health, and there's a whole lot of things that contribute to that, but that's the same thing for everyone. It's the thought you have that creates an anxiety. So all of these things, whether it is your health, your thought pattern, they are all an aspect of your health. So I educate to say, do you know that if you stress for 2 minutes, you shut your immune system down for 2 hours? So we have to make sure that we manage the stress, because without your immune system, you're going to get sick. And then who's going to take care of your brain and your body, and who's going to be able to take care of your family? But there's a combination. So exercise, even if you just walk around the block. I mean, I have some of my team that never ran anyway or walked anyway. And now they have walking clubs, and it is 21-kilometer events over weekends. And it's unbelievable to see, because they had a mindset of what it would be like. And then we start with little steps, one step at a time, just a little bit, and not force. If you do this, it's going to be part of the competition and the reward system. But if you read a book, if you do a course, and then if you exercise 12 hours, you get this amount of points. If you exercise 20 hours, 30 hours. So then now there's this competition with everybody. And they can do whatever they need to, if they love running, if they love cycling, if they love yoga, if they like whatever. But just to see the difference, because people are healthy. I mean, we had our team building last year at Sun City, and you see that everybody gets up and everybody goes and run. And
that's so cool.
It's different, and everybody's energy levels are up, and it's so vital. I think a lot of the times we think, okay, we develop the brain, but if the body can't keep up with the brain, what is the use? And we cannot do anything if we're not high on energy. What is a big contribution to our energy is our eating habits, and how we just stimulate our body to have a little bit of a higher heart rate every now and again. So I do a bit with the dancing. It might not burn a lot of calories, but it's a lot of fun. But then also the initiative to be able to do the exercise and the healthy eating habits, just so that I can also because how many stories do we know of people that never did anything and then start doing walk around the block and then run comrades? So it's just introducing all those little bits so that you can decide what you like, but it can contribute to a much healthier living and life. So yeah, there's a scale in the office, so we weigh ourselves every once a month.
Okay.
That everybody knows. So there's transparency. We have a code of honor as well that says that we should take care of ourselves, that we can take care of the team and of our customers.
Okay.
So, and these are all, the code of honor was not, I decided these are all the rules.
Yeah.
We sat together and said, okay, great. So what is our rules? And we came up with 11 rules. That's our code of honor. Be on time by being early, taking responsibility of your position, mission first, team second, individual last. So when you make a decision, who did you put, did you put yourself first? Did you put the team first? Do you think that the decision was correct? But by creating those kind of things where people keep each other accountable and make it fun, on health, on nutrition, and mind development, I think I can see the result. I see people, through COVID, we all had COVID. Yeah. But everybody it's almost like we were in this healthy bubble. It's just because nobody went into depression and didn't go and do anything. And we were doing things the whole time. We were grateful messages every single day. We were exercising, we were running, we were sharing ideas, we were sharing book. So I think that makes a big difference, because it's a key factor to being overall having a good employee experience, is being healthy. Yeah. If you're sick and overweight and not eating healthy, it is going to affect you. You're not going to have a good employee experience. Doesn't matter where you are. Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. And I think taking the approach of looking at the whole person and what does wellness mean, in totality, like that is absolutely key for a great employee experience, because you can't just be, you can't just be looking at a single aspect of that, because people are whole people at all times. You can't break off little fragments. So I think that's absolutely key. And I know we've spoken about a lot of things, but if there's one thing that you would tell other listeners to take away and implement in their leadership style today, what would that one thing be?
I have to say on one thing, I think it's Maya Angelou that said, if you learn, teach, and if you get, give. And I think if we can implement that in our employees and in our company, that is the motto. That's what we do the whole time. We grow, we learn, we give to each other. And I think the biggest advice I can give is, don't think by investing more money in a lot of other things is going to make the company grow if you don't look after what is the most important asset of your company, which is the direct connection to your customers, is your employees. Take care of them, make sure that they enjoy what they're doing, and you keep on learning how to be a better leader and an example and an inspiration, so that you can be that example and can help them to be the best possible people that they can be. I always say to my team that I'm going to teach you all these skills, and if you then come to me and tell me that you're going to start a business or you're going to do whatever, then I'm excited for you, because I want to teach you as many skills that you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And I think sometimes we limit our sharing of knowledge because we feel if we're going to share it, someone's going to take it and they're going to start their own business. And if I look at situations that has happened, it is always where you didn't treat someone well. You taught them certain things, but not in a way that they really enjoyed and wanted to stay. And then they go, because there's some of the criteria that they didn't feel happy. They didn't have that employee experience. So if we can really go out, all leaders, and really work on ourselves every single day, our emotional intelligence, our leadership skills, and make sure that we empower our employees to be the best possible human beings that they can be, and that they can achieve anything. And if they are going to grow in their family life, in their personal life, in their financial situation, in their ability, in their weight loss, or whatever the case might be, it is going to have an effect on your business. Yeah. And I think that is something that a lot of leaders miss. that is the part that they focus on the least, because I walk into companies and I feel that there's such a bad energy.
Yeah.
And people are gossiping around with people, and they don't like what they're doing, and everybody only do what is required of them, and they will do nothing more because that is not my job. And then I realize it is because they are just a number. There is nothing done to be able to empower them to be the best possible them that they can be.
Yeah.
And that's my journey every single day. Is I feel I'm on this planet to help everybody that I get in contact with in my team to be the best possible people that they can be. And if they then develop skills that they want to start their own business and conquer the world, then I mean, that's the biggest gift that I could ever receive. And I look at the team and I look at things that they do achieve, and houses that they buy, and things that they say that they would have never been able to do, and the relationships with their families and their husbands and wives that improve. And that for me puts the biggest smile on my face than millions and million rands of turnover, because that is something that's going to have a ripple effect for so many years, because they will have a different mindset of what life was about, and they will contribute that and share it with their children, and their children with their children, and with everybody in their community. So I think we can make a big change as leaders if we just take care of the people that is within our responsibility, so that they could be the best examples for everybody out there.
Thank you. That's also amazing. And how can our listeners connect with you? I know you said you're looking at doing a podcast, or have a podcast. What's going to be the best way that people can connect with you? Is it LinkedIn?
I think so. Facebook, definitely. I mean, anything that you're going to search Liqui Moly, you'll see interviews. Also on the YouTube channel. So we do the show, the Melicia. It also came to life during COVID. And so Facebook, you'll be able to get me. You'll see a lot on Liqui Moly. Also on our liquimoly.co.za website, you'll see a lot of information and contact there. People are also welcome to send me an email. I mean, my vision going forward is, and the podcast is Evolve Out Loud, because I feel we keep everything in our head, and if we bring it out, it gives you the opportunity to evaluate and question it. And then to think, is it really true? Is it a belief that is affecting my life and certain other things? So I think, it's every single day is a growth process, and life is amazing. And the challenges that we get just makes us become better people. And if anybody wants to connect, if they have some ideas, if there's anything they want some help with in business-wise, or some of their implementations and the code of honor and the rituals that we have at our office, or maybe some people would call it a cult, but you could also welcome to send me an email, and that's Melicia L, so just Melicia Labuschagne, or one Melicia L, MELICIAL at liqui-moly.co.za.
Thank you. That's a very generous offer, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to learn more about what you're doing, and some of the amazing things that you've implemented. I must say I've really, really enjoyed this, and thank you so much for your time. It's been a really, really great conversation, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you so much. Appreciate what you do. I think the awareness of the employee experience is so vital, and there are so much that all leaders can do all around South Africa to make it a better country, create more opportunities, and to remember that the seed that you plant today is going to grow and have a ripple effect. So the more we can do today, the more that is going to be able to just broaden out, and to start with a strong foundation, so that we can build on the future for our children and for everybody going forward. Because my vision still for South Africa is going to flourish, but it's going to be leaders that need to man up, learn new skills, and empower the employees to be leaders, so that we can have more examples out in our country to just lead us all to make it bigger and better every day.
Agreed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sally, and thank you for what you do, and all the best. And